All right. Morning, everyone. It's awesome seeing everyone's faces this morning. Couple of things. Today is Miss Doyle's birthday. Spam her email like crazy with happy birthday messages, llama pictures, whether they're cute llama pictures, hilarious llama pictures. Just wishing her a happy birthday, okay? When I'm done with Read Aloud today, I actually want to try doing a recorded, just like a separate recorded video of all of us who are still remaining doing a recorded live happy birthday song. So if you are wanting to join in on that hilarity, don't exit until right away when we're done reading, okay? So hang in there, okay? I'm going to present my screen to kind of go over a little bit as to what you can expect for today. Excuse me. Sorry, I was eating some grapes this morning. Okay. So it is a day one. Make sure you guys are, I was hoping that it was a nice little hint, but in the survey, but make sure you guys are checking your related arts classes each day. We are going to be doing our read aloud. If you want, open this character map, which I don't think I added Rashid on it. Oh no, I did. Having this open, that's going to be helpful during today's read aloud. And that's in the slideshow and in classroom under read aloud. So it's always in there, right there. You will be doing silent reading. Last night, or pretty much all of yesterday, like right before lunch until I went to bed or took a nap at like 8. I had like a major headache from, I think, all the screen time. So make sure you guys are separating yourselves from your screen because it definitely is, at least for me, causing a ton of headaches. But before I went to bed, I wanted to make sure I got done with adding my notes from your guys' conferring slides, talking about your book. So when I was looking through them, 2 things came up. If you did a video response and put a video in, the one final step that you guys need to try and make sure you remember to do is that you give me viewing access. So when you put it and add it into your drive, you're going to click share, and then you're going to do share with Miss Readinger or Ashley Readinger. That way I can view your video. I wasn't anticipating that to happen, I guess, but it did, so it's no big deal. Those of you who did do a video, I just made a comment, and I will try and get to viewing your video and giving you a feedback right away as soon as I can today. Don't worry, I will give you until the weekend. For those of you who did a video, I will give you until the weekend instead of till Friday, just because that was my bad on not realizing that you needed to share the video with me. Okay, so silent read today and do your conferring slides. The other problem was I had a couple people turn in their slideshow with nothing done on it. Please do not turn in this assignment, even though you're done silent reading, you didn't follow the steps. Number 3, confer with me. So that's the conferring slides. Okay. So make sure you do that before you turn it in. Today, I didn't insert my Kahoot link. I'll have to insert that later. Today, you guys are practicing Quizlet or Kahoot. I believe it is still linked in Classroom though. It is. Okay. So, and there is a Kahoot code if you are wanting to play Kahoot individually, or you can join me for office hours today, and we're going to be playing a live Quizlet review game and a live Kahoot game. So if you're interested, join. It always is a ton of fun, and I typically go over explaining the vocabulary words. Tomorrow you do have your test. Okay. Lastly, we've got social studies. So this is when we kind of broke it up a little bit. Excuse me, those grapes. Man, oh man. Sorry. So step 1, there is a painting. So yesterday you guys had read 2 PDF articles, or PDF stories. One is navigating the unknown, and then the other, and that kind of focused on like what are some dangers that refugees who are traveling come across in the wild and nature. And then the other one was at a crossroads, and that was focusing on like who should refugees trust, and that's all the whole focus of this week's unit for social studies is who can refugees trust, because there are like the read aloud that I read last year to my kids had it to where the people who helped refugees escape their country and cross over to a different border would end up just taking their money and letting them kind of suffer. And they had to go through some extra hardships because they lost money and didn't even get to go across the border. So that's kind of some background on that. So today you guys are going to be looking at this. You're not reading it. The only thing you're reading is this quote here at the very top, and it's not letting me highlight it, but that's okay. So you're just going to read that quote at the top, and I want you to have like a really good analysis of what do you all notice in this painting. Okay, so it says it was terrible. People shouting, screaming, run, swim, go, go. Where was my friend? He was taken by the river. Nobody was anybody's friend. How can you be a friend when people are shooting at you and the river is going whoosh and you have to go in that river? The bang, bang, and whoosh, whoosh made my mind go dead, and I didn't remember who was there, who died, and what happened. So taking that quote, taking what you're noticing about the picture, I want you to think about whoever's got their mic on, I want you to turn it off for me, please. Thank you. All right. Taking that quote and taking this painting that was done by a 17-year-old refugee who passed the Gila River, had experienced some great hardships. So looking at that and using some analysis skills. So like, what are you noticing about the colors that the 17-year-old used? What do you notice about the different pictures, like miniature pictures? What do you notice about the interactions between different people? What do you notice about the setting of this painting? What do you notice, like what mood is it kind of portraying from the painting? So like in general, like what deep noticings are you having? What are your thoughts and reactions? So you are doing a video response on that in Flipgrid, and I can double check in a minute, like when we're done with read aloud, but I'm pretty sure I set the Flipgrid to be private because I want to really see what your thoughts are and not you just reusing what other people are using. So the Flipgrid response is private. I do want you to try and use that same presenting your screen and face at the same time type of thing with Flipgrid, just like we did with our Latin America projects. I did attach it in the Flipgrid on as to like a link you can use to remind you on how to do that setting. And I can just show you super quick, and then we'll jump into read aloud. Yep, so I do have the hand, so it is private. Here is a link. If you click on this blue, it reminds you on how to record your screen and your face talking about it. If you are having problems with this, email me and let me know. Here's a link again to the painting of the PDF. I also put it here as the picture for this, and then the directions again are all right here. Don't forget to turn in this assignment in Classroom then when you're done, okay? So let me know if you have any questions with that, but I'm really intrigued. I love analyzing pictures. And there's also like political cartoons that I love analyzing too during this unit. All right, so I'm gonna be done yakking about that and we're gonna get started reading. So, sorry, I know it was a lot, but we do have a shorter chapter today, not as short as yesterday, but it is about like 9-ish pages. So we'll get started with that right away. So we left off yesterday with a flashback. And with that flashback, we kind of figured out and found out the Arab Spring was rising, and her brother, her older brother Jad, was kind of getting involved with some of the uprisings or the peaceful protests. And when he was involved with the peaceful protests, he ended up getting shot. So that was just like the main event that happened in the last chapter. Looking at today's chapter, we're back in present time of October 11th, 2013 at 2:44 a.m. Okay, so it's like the middle of the night when people typically are sleeping. And the last time we had present time is when her and Basel and Amo Mason went down into like this weird building cellar type of thing that had, I think, phosphate in it. And that's when we found out that Rashid and Amo Mason worked together to kind of save historical artifacts that belonged to Syria during this war. So that's where we last left off. All right. An hour after their departure from Professor Lila's hideout, the small group zigzagged through the streets, heading east, avoiding any checkpoints. Finally, they paused to rest at the quiet intersection of Zohar and Hafez streets when Basel insisted that he needed to go to the bathroom. Even Mishmish lay slumped in his favorite spot in the cart, which was behind Jamila's tail. The donkey snorted, shaking her head in a huff, as she and Nadia eyed each other in a wary understanding. Nadia collapsed onto the curb, staring down at her tattered shoes and her dusty jeans. Kind of shows you how long of a journey she's been going on. She pulled off her visor, thinking she'd never been so dirty and exhausted in her whole life. One more step, she thought with a frown. Amo Mason promised we'll head north to Turkey after the final errand. And like last time, he hadn't told them much about where they were going, just that they needed to meet someone in Jadeda Quarter. The fact that he was so secretive was so beyond irritating and left her actually a little nervous. The old man had proven that he was far more than a book repairer, and she was trying to be patient, which, I don't know about you guys, wasn't exactly her strong suit. Lila and Rashid had tried to get them to stay the night. I think Lila and Rashid are married, so I'll add that into the character chart. Tried to get them to stay the night, insisting that Amo Mason needed to rest. But he refused. Nadia was relieved. With hugs and good wishes, they left. Which is weird, because I get it. She's relieved that she then gets to leave faster, get this mission done and over with faster, and get to see her parents faster. But at the same time, she's been noticing the state that Amo Mason has been in, and it's not good. And I think not yesterday, but the day before we ended Read Aloud, for those of you who were gone or not part of the recording, we had talked about how we were really inferring that we think that Amo Mason really is going to die during this journey to finding her family. So I think that's another huge hint from the author foreshadowing that he might die. And again, I'm the same spot you guys are in the book, so that's just my thinking. With hugs and good wishes, they left. Professor Layla's group, Nadia realized, no matter how dedicated and hardworking, was but a buoy bobbing in a tidal wave of destruction. Some nice figurative language. Can saving a clay tablet, some books and coins really preserve 5,000 years of history and culture? She gazed at the nondescript, multi-story building standing on the opposite side of the street and couldn't help but feel hopeless. That was the Italian consulate, said Amomazin, eyeing the building Nadia was blankly staring at. The Italians left as soon as the fighting had begun. The Americans, Canadians, British, French, all gone. So when they say the Italian consulate, they mean like these are people who live in Syria, but they're originally from like the country that they're naming. So like Italy, United States, France, Spain, those kind of countries. And they're there to kind of help the country. They're there to kind of be a resource for other Italians that might visit. They're there to kind of just, support each country, have almost a person there. Very similar to like in Trash when, was it Miss Olivia? There was someone from Britain that was there in the Philippines with them that kind of helped guide her through the hot mess with the police. That was like a consulate from the British for her. So someone that helps their citizens who visit that area. So the fact that all these like consulates or helpers from the countries are gone kind of almost tells me like they will not allow their people to visit that country anymore. Americans can't visit. Canadians can't visit. The British, the French, Italians. That's just what my thinking is, though. And that's why they're gone. Sorry, I told you I was going to go faster. Here we go. Okay, focus, Miss Reading. Baselle's face darkened as she returned from going to the bathroom. Stinking French, he muttered. What do you know about the French? Asked Amomazin, amused by the old man or by the boy's fierce expression. My grandfather told me stories, sir, said Baselle, puffing out his chest. His father was the leader of our village. The French tried to steal their land when they refused to pay their stupid taxes. So he led an epic battle against them, and they still talk about it. The echo of a long ago lesson from her history teacher popped into Nadia's head. It was the British, too, she muttered. After the Allied powers defeated the Ottomans and Germans in World War I, they carved up Arab lands for themselves. Looks like they're teaching kids something useful in school these days, said Amomazin, a twinkle in his eye. Stung that he thought she didn't know much, the lesson came tumbling from her mouth, kind of like trying to prove herself to Amomazin, I think, that she's worthy. It was called the Sykes-Picot Agreement, she muttered. Britain took Palestine, Transjordan, and Iraq so they could connect to their empire in India. Greater Syria and Lebanon then went to France. The French stole Lebanon too? Squeaked Baselle, outraged. Yes, said Amomazin, and to control people whose land that they occupied, they sowed seeds of division among them. Originally, they wanted to create an Alawite, Sunni, Druze, and Christian state, but in the end, they just created 6. Jabal Druze, Aleppo, Alawite, Damascus, Alexandretta, and Great Lebanon. As Baselle asked Amomazin how the French were able to maintain power, Nadia couldn't help but compare them to the Alawites, who also kept the majority of Muslims and Christians under their thumb. Sounds like a lot of prosecution. I think that was one of our vocab words this week. Prosecution is like judging people based on like their religion or their race, and that is what's perfect example of what's happening in our book right now. People are judging and kind of like harming each other in a sense in multiple ways based on their beliefs, based on their religion, and then also based on some political views too. Things would have been different if Faisal had become a true king, she mumbled, remembering that the Arab leader who'd brought Sunni and Shias together, he'd fought with the Allied powers, hoping to create some sort of independent Arab state. Amomazin shook his head in irritation, and cheeks flushed. They played Faisal for a fool, allowing him to be a puppeting king. A lion, essentially, without teeth. In the end, France and Britain did what the what had benefited them. He took a raspy breath and pulled out his handkerchief, and suddenly overtaken by a fit of coughing. "Are you okay, sir?" asked Basel as he helped Amomazin sit on the back of the cart. The old man cleared his throat. "Tired lungs, my boy," he said, taking a sip of water from a plastic bottle Nadia had handed him. Basel was about to ask something when a few blocks up, Nadia saw a set of headlights cruise by. A Mercedes. So every time that there's a Mercedes or a super nice car driving by, she gets like a sense of like, oh my gosh, like scared. I want you to comment while I'm reading, why is that? Why is it that it's like only the nice cars that she's scared of? Why was it not like that broken down van that the ladies came out of the one time? Okay. A Mercedes. Is it the same one we saw earlier, she wondered, fear flaring through her? Amomazin rose from the back of the cart, eyes narrowed behind the spectacles. "Come, children," he said urgently. He grabbed Jamila's reins and hobbled past the consulate into a narrow alley. They detoured north towards Ger de Baghdad, the deserted train station, and cut through the train tracks. Nadia eyed the ghostly blue and white carriages standing idle on the tracks and a derailed engine. She remembered riding a similar carriage, watching the countryside flash by, and shelling salty sweet pistachios from the trip to Damascus she'd just taken with her family. She had been 8 at the time. Oh, how I would give anything to be back with them again. Amomazin, his breathing heavy, slowed upon turning onto a wide, tree-lined avenue, distinctive with its mix of European and Middle Eastern architecture. Missiles and bombs, unimpressed by the upscale apartment blocks and villas, had wrought their damage here as they had the rest of the city. As the group turned left at the next intersection, heading north, bright lights and the sound of pulsating music startled them. A string of cafes were filled with well-dressed young people drinking coffee and smoking shisha. Shisha? The sweet smell of apple scent smoke filtered down down the street towards them. "Where are we?" asked Nadia in amazement. "Azizia," said Amomazin. "Azizia?" thought Nadia. An affluent suburb of the northwest of the city. A few young men hovered on the ladders, connecting a generator to wires strung with brightly colored lights. They were acting as if they didn't even know a war was raging around them. "Do you think they have something to eat?" Basel muttered longingly. Amomazin eyed the throngs and shook his head, his face pallid and lined. "Wait," said Nadia desperately. "Maybe they have a working telephone. I could then call my father." "No," said Amomazin, moving on, but more slowly this time, wincing as if he were in pain. "It's not safe." "But," Nadia began, but he'd already turned away, leaving her feeling angry. "Amo is right," said Basel, reaching over to squeeze her hand. That's very mature of him. Holy cow. "Something doesn't seem quite right. It's best to go." I want you to comment, why do you think something doesn't feel quite right with this? Why is it that even Basel is seeing that this isn't a safe place, with the place where the people were like acting as if there's no war going on, they've got lights going and generator. Why is it that that seems unsafe? I mean, they've got energy, right? They got electricity. Why is it unsafe? So drop a comment. We're almost done. Reluctantly, she followed as a soulful voice floated towards them. "It's Abdul Karim Hamdan. He'd been a constant on Arab Idol that summer. A local boy." Haunting lyrics wove over them as they headed down the street, piercing her heart anew. "Oh, Aleppo, oh, my country, you are a spring of suffering in my country." Coming to the end of a narrow street, Nadia saw something sparkle high above their heads and swallowed. Wow, whispered Basel, staring at a glittering arrangement of CDs strung between the buildings and spelling out, "Art is peace." So like they repurpose CDs to make a cool art piece. Wondering who had risked their life to spend hours creating the display, Nadia hurried to catch up with the cart, dragging Basel with her. As they turned the corner, they heard the screech of tires and saw a car barreling towards them. It stopped, angled sideways, blocking the street. It was the Mercedes, like the one that slipped past hours earlier. "You two," whispered Emma Mason, "get behind. Get behind the cart." He reached under the tarp to open the secret compartment. From within its depths, he extracted something metallic. "A gun, it's a gun," thought Nadia, heart racing. She shared a panicked look with Basel as Amo tucked the weapon into the back of his waistband. The driver's side window rolled down, revealing a burly, thick-set man with a craggy face. "Salam, Brother Ahmed. I've been looking all over town for you." I wonder if this is like that weird person that the guy with the like the emergency car, the person that was handing out meat to cats, he was saying so-and-so's looking for you too. Oh, this does not sound good. Okay. Intense moment. I don't know about you, but I'm freaking out. "We've been looking all over town for you." Nadia frowned. "Who's Ahmed?" She glanced at Amo Mazen. A relieved smile had replaced the look of apprehension. "Wakulam as-salam, Brother Suleiman." It is him. Gosh. He said, "Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to swing by to see you." Suleiman got out of the car and came towards them, his heavy leather jacket hanging loosely over his khaki pants. Who are the kids?" Suleiman asked suspiciously. "Don't worry about them," said Amo Mazen. "They have their uses." What does that mean? Thought Nadia with a frown. "Brother Ahmed, I'm in a tight spot," said Suleiman, his tone weary. "My commander's been breathing down my neck all week. He wants the information that you promised me." "I'm sorry, Brother Suleiman," said Amo Mazen, extracting an envelope from inside the secret compartment, along with a gold bar from the black bag. "It took a while to pinpoint the location of the men you're looking for. They've moved their command post deeper into Salahadin." Nadia looked from one man to the other. Why is Amo Mazen giving information on rebels to someone from the Mukhabarat? "Thank you. This is very helpful," said Suleiman. He slipped the envelope and gold into the inside jacket pocket. "This will make my commander and his team happy. Just enough information to go and search for the rebels, but not enough to actually find them. It will keep them busy for a while." So is Suleiman like a double spy? Like he's a rebel, but pretending to be a Mukhabarat in order to like help the rebels be successful or to stall the Syrian army? I don't know. This is really weird. Nadia was even more confused. Her and me both. "Yes, it's a tricky dance we perform," said Amo Mazen. Exhaustion lined his face. "Indeed it is," said Suleiman, giving him a conspiratorial wink. "Thank you for your tip on the location of the rare manuscripts last month," Amo Mazen said. "We were able to then save them." "That is wonderful," said Suleiman, checking his watch. "I must go. But I wanted to tell you to be careful, brother. Rumors are floating about of an old man causing trouble, poking his nose where it doesn't belong. Those higher up have given orders to find you." "Thank you for the warning," said Amo Mazen, exchanging goodbyes before parting. Oh my gosh. That was a lot. That was a lot. There's my little far. Okay, so it sounds like I have another character to add, and we've got like some secret agents type of going around. Suleiman works for the Syrian army or the Mukhabarat, but is trying to stall them so that the rebels can be a little bit more successful. And him and Amo Mazen have like this partnership going on of where Suleiman tells him where there's some art pieces for him to save. In return, he comes up with some somewhat fake but somewhat true news for him to give to Suleiman's leaders. But excuse me, but the fact that those and the higher up are saying like there's an old man causing trouble and he's the old man. I don't know what kind of trouble he's causing though. He's just helping kids right now. Anyway, the fact that he's causing trouble and that people are on the lookout for him makes me nervous that maybe his ailment isn't the thing that's going to kill him, but the Mukhabarat are. So that's my thinking. I'm going to stop this recording and start a new one in a minute here.